Hi friends, today's video is going to be about homeschooling and homeschooling tips. I don't know about you, but homeschooling was definitely the biggest change and one of the biggest challenges throughout this whole quarantine. There are days where my frustration level is really high and my patience was really thin. So if you're like me, don't worry, you're not alone. Today I'm gonna go over some tips that I use to help the days go a little smoother. So I'm the type of person that likes to prep everything they can the day before, just so the next day can run a little smoother. Just like when my son was going to school, I used to prep his clothes the night before and lay it on his shelf like this so that he can just wake up in the morning, use the restroom, and get changed right away. Another thing I like to do is prep his workstation. I set out all his paperwork, books, glue sticks, scissors, crayons, pencils, all the supplies he needs. I'll put it out the day before. It just helps so that I'm not waking up in the morning looking for supplies, looking for paperwork. It just helps, get us off in the right foot. Also, I did want to add, he was doing his work in the kitchen or in the living room, but he was getting way too distracted. His brother's playing, there's food. I felt that moving him to his room made a big difference. We actually moved this table. This table used to be in the family room and we moved it in here. So I feel like that actually made a difference for at least him being able to focus. Personally, I love structure. Just like they have structure at school, I thought it was important for him to have structure at home. I'm not gonna lie, we were all over the place in the beginning. I had to come up with a schedule for us to follow. So I did a printout visual for us to refer to, and I tried to keep it as close and similar to the school schedule as possible. So I did include things like creative time. That's where he builds things with either Magformers or Legos. Or he does artwork. He goes on YouTube. He uses, I think it's called Art Hub, and he just draws on there. And then he also does reading. We were able to download Kindle for iPad, and if you have Amazon, there's some free books on there that you can download. So I also included PE time. PE, he either goes out and plays baseball in our front yard or he'll do workout videos. If you Google workout for kids on YouTube, there's a ton of videos on there. Another thing that I did to make my day go a little bit easier is I created a lunch calendar. I actually did this while he was going to school, just so I don't have to think about what's for lunch every day. In the beginning of the month, I would just write out several lunches, and I try to keep them like 2 weeks apart, or like not have the same lunch for twice a month, just so he doesn't get tired of it. Because imagine if I put like pizza, 10 times out of the calendar, he would get tired of it. So I thought that helped with him not getting tired of foods and still eating the foods that he loves. And it definitely made lunch a little bit less stressful because I knew it was all the food that he loved and he was gonna eat anyway. So one last thing that I wanted to share was I did purchase this book off of Amazon. It's called Brain Quest. I just felt like it was something for him to do on the weekends or spring break like it is right now, just because I know he's getting bored and we don't homeschool those days. So it's just another fun thing to do. I don't have to force him because it's a fun workbook, and that's just another idea if you want to keep your kids occupied. And lastly, I did enforce the same iPad rule I did when he was going to school. So no iPad after 4 p.m. just because I want to express that even though the schools are closed, we are still continuing to homeschool, and I wanted to keep it the same as possible. So I did stick with that no iPad rule. So that's about it. I hope these tips were helpful. I know it's not easy. Hang in there. We're gonna get through this. Take care.